Hi everyone! Today I'm going to share with you about something pretty simple but very useful to help you with grocery shopping. These days especially we want to get in and get out really quickly, so I thought this would be something very helpful for everyone. This is a grocery shopping list that my family and I have been using for a couple of years now, and we find it to be really useful and helpful in saving time at the grocery store as well as planning beforehand. It sounds really basic, I know, but it's something that has helped us a lot, and it's a little bit unique in that it is a reusable sheet, not like most people use a sticky note or maybe an app to just list items out and cross them out once they're done. This is reusable and pre-populated with items that we buy regularly, and there's room down below to write in any additional items that aren't already on the list. I mentioned this in my last video on pantry organization, so I thought I would elaborate on it now. Let's take a look at the sheet first, and then I'll share about the method and leave you with a couple tips to use. In the description below this video, you can see that there's a link to my website where I provide the file for this grocery shopping list. There are two formats. One is a PDF of this, in case you happen to eat exactly the same things that we do, which I find highly unlikely. And there's also a Google Doc that you can open and save your own copy and modify to fit your needs. For example, maybe you want to organize foods by the store that you go to, or list them out as fresh produce, packaged, frozen, or something like that. Do whatever works for you. This is a list that works for us. For example, I have meat on here as a category. I don't have to specify that it's all vegan. I know that. I know the types of brands I buy, so none of the details are on here. This is just a quick alphabetical at a glance sheet that is useful for my family. So I hope you create your own. To make this sheet reusable, I laminated it. So this is a really basic thermal laminator that I bought along with laminating sheets for just around $30. I'm always looking for additional things to laminate, so if you happen to be in Colorado, send me your list and I'll gladly do it for you. If you don't have a laminator, don't worry. Most people don't have one, and I would encourage you to go out and purchase one just for this purpose. You can use a regular piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser to erase check marks every week. But otherwise, I use this with a dry erase marker and a Kleenex or just my finger to erase items as I need. Now for the method. There's nothing particularly special here, but it works really well for us, so I thought I would share it with you guys. So during the week, as we run out of items, we put check marks next to them here or write them in below if it's not something already on the list. Then before going to the grocery store, I use my G-Tasks app to enter everything in the app that is check marked or written here. And I'm always careful to organize that in the order that I walk around the store. I know it sounds anal, but it actually is really helpful in saving time. And when I go to stores that I am at frequently, I remember where everything is laid out, so it's actually quite easy to do. And I know Trader Joe's and others really like to switch things up on us. So it might not always be perfect, but as long as you have your full list on the phone of items you need, then you're set to go. At the store, I have my G-Tasks app open, and as I take the item and put it in the cart, I'll just check it off the list, and then it disappears here. Once I'm done with my grocery shopping, I will look back at the list and make sure that everything is checked off. If not, it might be something that I forgot to grab, or maybe it's something that wasn't available at this particular store. So I'll usually leave it on the list and just save it for the next time I go grocery shopping. I hope you see that this method is really simple. Write the items on the list, put it on your app, and check it off as you go. And now for the tips. Tip number 1, fill out this sheet as you go. I really think that's the key here. So for example, if I run out of baking powder, I'll mark it on here right away, so that next time that inspiration strikes, I am not left without a key ingredient. Of course, I'm kind of kidding here. It's not a big deal if something is missing, and usually I plan my meals in advance, but it's really nice to have the key ingredients that are already listed here always available. Tip number 2, keep staples on hand. This is where the pre-populated section is really helpful. I'll usually just skim through this really quickly to jog my memory in case we're out of anything. That way, we're never too far from a meal. For example, we always have pasta and marinara sauce on hand, and I make sure with this list that we never run out. Tip number 3, keep the physical list where everybody can see it. The reason I particularly like that is so that everybody in the family can contribute at items that they need or that they've used up. And of course, if you live alone, this may not be particularly important for you. The reason I prefer the physical list rather than just writing everything in the app is so that everybody in the family can contribute. So if my husband wants something or he used up an ingredient, he can mark it on here. If I happen to be at a store, which rarely happens these days because I plan for these big outings now, I'll just ask my husband for a picture of this sheet, and then I know exactly what we need to buy. Typically on the day that I plan to go grocery shopping, I'll sit down with the Paprika app to plan out meals for the following week. And I will gladly share details on how I do that in a future video if you guys are interested. I go through and pick the recipes that we'll make for the following week while glancing at the ingredients for each one. If anything isn't already marked on the list, I'll add it. Once I'm back from the grocery store, I'll erase everything that I bought and leave the items that I wasn't able to find on the list, and they basically roll over to the next week. Then we start a new week with a fresh list. Alright, well I hope this was helpful for you. Don't forget to download the grocery list below, and feel free to share your thoughts as well. I'd love to hear what you think.